Welcome back to Ghoster Coasters, everybody, and today we have a fun trip down memory lane back to Cedar Point 2011 era. Yes, we're going to take you on a walkthrough of the park and show you some of the things that have changed over the years. But first, if you haven't already, be sure to smash that subscribe button. And a huge shout out goes out to all of our channel members for helping us produce all of this content. You guys are the reason why we're able to do this, and we couldn't do it without you. Subscribe down below and be a part of the spooky community. Alright, now let's get into the fun at Cedar Point, taking you straight to the entrance circa 2011. And yes, we plan to do a side-by-side opening day as well. Now as we enter Cedar Point, we're used to seeing the soaring of the Gatekeeper going over the entrance and, interlocking between the keyholes, and that's something that we've become accustomed to over the past couple of years here. And back in the day, I personally thought the entrance looked a little bit better because there was tons of trees out there. I also think that this is where the bricks should be when, they have them on the Midway here. I think those bricks should be out front, kind of make it like that. It just feels like a big boxy area now, and I kind of like this a lot more. You could see the trees all around. It just felt beautiful at the entrance over there, and guys, check out the classic Halloween car from the mid-2000s. I remember it being like this when I first started going. Nowadays, you can see it across from the Panda Express area as a photo opportunity, which is pretty cool. Cedar Point continues on with its history, and you'll see a lot throughout this video that Cedar Point has a lot of nods to history throughout the park. Even today, you can see that quite a bit. As soon as you got in the main entrance there, it just, it felt really nice. You see the tree over there, and you can see Raptor in the background. I personally love this entrance. I know a lot of people are a big fan of Gatekeeper's entrance now. I like Gatekeeper, I just kind of like the old entrance and how it felt before. I remember having picnics with the school back in the day over here when we went on school field trips and whatnot. That was always really fun because you'd be like right by the entrance. Everybody knew where to meet up. It just felt really beautiful in there. Look at all those flowers. Now I know the entrance is kind of lacking here, guys. It's a little ugly, I get that. But it's beautiful, and it's a nice little nod to history. Some of my favorite things about this, though, are seeing things that have changed even right at the entrance. I know when we walk in, you see over to the left, there's a Coca-Cola drink stand over there. It used to be Hurricane Hannah's, served food and a bunch of other things over there. And there was a little Halloween's haunted house back there at one point, too, which was really cool. And I remember that having one of the longer lines. I know it was right at the front of the park here. But another hidden gem from Cedar Point history here, everybody. There used to be a Midway right there next to Ocean Motion. It did not just end at the front, and as you can see, they've done some changes to the front of the the shop over here and whatnot over the years. Cedar Point's very good at keeping things looking fresh, updating things, and maintaining their nods to history throughout the park. It's pretty cool to see over the years what's different. I mean, even the French Corner over there, way different back in 2011. Things have changed over the years, and sometimes you don't even notice what's changed. I love this area here. It's really cool because you used to be able to just cut through right behind the ice cream station. There was two places you could go. There was a 3-point shootout over there as well. I remember playing that a bunch as a kid. I know, not a fan of basketballs in the park, everybody, but you used to play those games quite a bit. It was always really fun doing that. And I mean, look, there were shops over here too, right in front of us. Look at the shrubs over there. It looked beautiful. It was nice. This is kind of a dead-end area of the park now. But as you can see, Pink's was over there. Then we have, obviously the little boutique house over here. That was pretty cool as well. There was tons of things at Cedar Point that were a little different. I'll show you another shop here at the end that really just, nowadays you couldn't see it being at Cedar Point, but it fit in back in the day and you didn't even think twice about it. Let's keep on moving now, head over towards the Raptor area and show you guys the old splash pad that used to be there before we head over to Blue Street. This is where all of the ceremonial bricks are now, where you got people's names and stuff and you can see everything. I remember going as a kid and just running through that on a hot summer day. This was an area that didn't have a bunch of shade in the park, so as a kid, you just kind of take off. You don't really care if you're wet. I know parents probably didn't love it because it was closer to the exit of the park on the way out, so kids might be leaving soaking wet, but I loved it, and I think they should put that there. And I also think that should be a 360 stage now for the new entertainment stage. Just my thoughts. But look at the pirate ride, guys. Even in 2011, the pirate ride remnants were kind of there and just closed off and sealed off from the public. It was a weird area over there. I don't remember it much, but I do remember Calypso being over here. This was one of the things I remember as a kid. When I came back to the park, Valravn was there. Everything over here was different. I didn't go from Well, I went in 2012 or 2013 one time, but I don't remember going over in the Blue Streak area. And before that, it was all the Halloween weekends leading up to 2011. So it was a lot different in that area. It was just a dead end. You didn't ride Blue Streak a bunch. But if you check this out, guys, the walkway that you get under Raptor now also had another one that used to cut straight to the corral. I'm not quite sure why they removed this. It seems like it would have made, guest flow a little easier over there too. I think that should still be there personally. Some things that have changed over the years, and I kind of wish were still there. Some things are improvements at this park, and you'll see that throughout this video and the walkthrough. Like, some of the areas looked a lot better and a lot different, and some of them, they've improved massively. And I guess that goes with decades of change and decades of history being all around the park too. It's kind of hard to just get it right. But do you guys see something over there in the distance? All right, let's go ahead and head on over there. I know what you guys are thinking. The frozen custard stand. Heck yeah. No, I'm just kidding, everybody. We see disaster transport over there in the distance, and of course the space spiral. Johnny Rockets popping, bunch of outdoor seating over there. I think that should still be the same again. That one, I don't really love the change with the maze and stuff. We'll see how that goes over the next 5 to 10 years, if the maze is still there or not, because I don't remember seeing tons of lines. Do not ever let anyone tell you disaster transport was not pulling lines in its last season. I know it was probably on single train ops. Everybody don't start commenting down below. But the ride still did have popularity. I wish it was a little more, less of a headache, I should say, on maintenance and easier to maintain, and the building was sealed off, so whenever there was any little bit of wetness in there or whatnot, sand getting in there, that they could run the ride. Obviously, the ride had a lot of downtime towards the end there, and they made, major business decisions to upgrade the front of the park with Gatekeeper, and I don't really mind that. Gatekeeper is a wonderful ride. This area was cool back then. It's cool now. The one thing I missed was Happy Jack's Toy Factory being in the other side of disaster transport there. I know they have since put Hexed in the background where Gatekeeper's little maintenance area is kind of, so it's similar. It's different rides, different haunted house, same feel, you know what I mean? But look at the whole boardwalk area in comparison to today. Like, did I love the boardwalk back then? Yes. Do I love the boardwalk now? Yes. The boardwalk now is beautiful. Back then, it felt a little more like you couldn't see out too much, but it felt more open. There was more openness here, which during Halloween weekends, you would see like the carnival type fair walking through here. I thought that was awesome to have in that area. It was kind of childlike, but also gave you the fear of the fair, basically, and that was perfect for Cedar Point. Carnival over there was awesome. That was also back when Cedar Point had more of a spread throughout their Halloween weekends events and not a focus on certain areas. But check out this Joe Cool Cafe, everybody. If anyone ever went there, drop a comment down below. I think I went there once or twice when I went to the park. Probably 13 years old at the time when I went, so I don't remember much, but I do remember the Joe Cool Cafe being over here and being right next to one of my favorite haunted houses over here. So, of course, this area of the park has a bit of a little nostalgia for me. I like what it is now. I don't think they downgraded it by any stretch. I think the Wild Mouse and, the Tiki Twirl and all those rides over there fit in perfectly on the boardwalk. It's a great area, but I do miss it. But check this out, everybody. The Sky Ride. Look at those stands over there. It's pretty colorful, I should say. And look at that Millennium Force Midway. All you see is a big screen and Millie popping out over the top. The Dodgems that are now currently on the boardwalk. We're right across from Coaster's Diner, everybody. This was a really poppin' area of the park. I remember waiting in line for the Dodgems all the time. This was kind of where I'd meet up with friends when I was at the park during Halloween weekends, and other people were at the park as well. We'd all kind of meet up in this middle ground area. It was really easy back then. This is a bit of an eyesore, I know. This big old stand for the light show that used to be on the Midway. Personally loved it though. Guys, the Good Times Theater. If you ever caught any shows at the Good Times Theater, definitely drop a comment down below and let me know what you saw in there, how it was. I went to one show. I don't remember what it was. I think it was an ice skating show at the time. Super young, so I don't remember much of the Good Times Theater. I just remember it being there, now occupied by the one and only Valravn, one of the greatest dive coasters. No, I'm just kidding, guys. It's a great dive coaster, but it takes up that plot now, and as you can see, there's definitely more changes coming down this way. The Midway leading up to Millennium Force looks much different than it did in 2011. And I cannot wait to show you this next part because one of my favorite rides is going to be looming in the distance. Do you see it? Oh boy. Alright, first off, we're going to take you to the Iron Dragon entrance because there used to be a walkway. So when they were doing the light shows, you see this guardrail here. You used to walk down that way, and Iron Dragon's entrance was actually pretty far back. Which I'm not sure what they're doing this year, but I think based on the map view, the entrance is going to be similar to what it used to be. But yeah, this cool little walkthrough was for when shows were going on. You would pass by on this side if you kept walking while people in the middle watched the shows. Look at the Wildcat. Look at the marathon sponsoring too, guys. I mean, look at that. That's recession era Cedar Point type stuff right there. You would see that in the park. There was some marathon, and I'm not sure if you've noticed it yet, but there are Pepsi stands in the park at this time too. Schwarzkopf Legacy right here, everybody. This was one of the best coasters at the park. I don't care what anybody says. I love that Wildcat. I know it's a carnival ride. Great ride. I miss it dearly. That's where Siren's Curse is going to be opening this year, so pretty exciting stuff going on here. I remember the 21 and, colder or frozen, 21 and frozen area being the Dragon's Inn. We used to go get pretzels over here and just kind of like midday snacks. And I remember it being pretty busy. And then, of course, we got Mantis. I think these colors look way better than the current colors. Let me know what you guys think about that. I love Mantis's colors and the sign up there. Millennium Force area looks a little different too. You can see the overflow queue is now where the VIP lounge is because the ride used to get pretty busy. It was hard to keep up with the people back then, so there was a big overflow. And then they had these cool little lockers outside that were just ugly. I loved it. This park was awesome. The Millennium Force area in general was always kind of busier because it was a popular ride. Even, it's been popular its whole existence, still is today, but back then you kind of expected to wait for it. This is where I start to get a little upset because look at these trees and look at the shade offered at here. There were so many more trees back then, and I'll especially show you on that area by Dragster to Magnum. Ooh, that's a bad area, but look at the shading. No one's really standing in the sun. The trees are providing shade everywhere all over here. I miss this, Cedar Point. We need more trees along the midways. Please listen to that and just put more trees everywhere. Now this is interesting, guys. The drink stand over there? That's where the little train station thing used to be. It's kind of interesting where you can see the old setup. The train's still over in that area, pushed over a little bit. Now it's a Coke stand, so it's pretty awesome over there. You can see the light shows that used to go on down the Midway and the Frontier Trail here, but check this out. No pony rides, first off. Now let's go to the left. Shops there instead of an outhouse, everybody. That's a lot different than what you see today. When you go over there, it's kind of quiet. You see the horse stable down in the distance by Millennium Force, and there's an outhouse that if you pull the handle, someone's in here, blah, blah, blah. I like what it looked like back then. More shops on the Frontier Trail. I remember during Halloween weekends, it felt more lively over there. Now when you get to this area, it's kind of a stalemate before you get underneath the Millennium Force bridge with the lights. Some of it looks better back then. Not all of it, but some of it. And this is one area where I wish it was kind of, not much has changed, but those buildings being gone, you could see the difference over there. Now, going along the Frontier Trail, you can see some of the same shops are still there. The views are very similar. And there was a shop inside the fort that you used to go into. The leather shop, I believe, was over there at one point, and some other things, but it was always cool going by there because you could actually go in the fort. I remember at one point you used to be able to go upstairs in it all the time. It was pretty cool. Now let's get to some history that's no longer there. You guys see that? Oh, wait. Not that one. I'm talking about the one to the right. Shoot the Rapids. I know, 2 water rides no longer there anymore with Snake River Falls gone, but this was Shoot the Rapids. I got to ride it once. It was a pretty cool ride. I remember it being fun. Didn't last very long, guys. If you know the history of Intamin and that water ride, it was long gone, and the reason why Intamin hasn't been back to the park since. But we'll move on from that because this area definitely just looked cool. I remember going down. This is where the Blood on the Bayou eventually came to, where you would go on the entrance and stuff, and then the adventure on Forbidden Frontier. The Shoot the Rapids sign was awesome. They had one of the cooler water ride signs in the park. I loved Shoot the Rapids. As you can see there, this ride is currently closed. That was typical of that ride back then. It was always down. They had the same heating stations that you see over by Snake River Falls back in the day. I'm excited to go look at the park again and kind of scope this area out, see what's going on, because a lot of people think that this is where the next expansion is going to be post, Siren's Curse. We'll see. Now look at the barnyard. Everything over here is a little different. I like how they've made it more interactive for people to go over to the barnyard. Back then, it kind of just looked like something you would look at and keep it moving. You would, look at the animals kind of. Nowadays, you get feed buckets, they got stands, they got people over there in attendance. You can do a whole lot more over there and pet more animals than it looked like you could back then. The whole area itself, though, generally the same. Frontier Trail should and will remain to always look the same, I believe. They're not going to do many changes over there. But look at Maverick. I mean, it's faded ever since this time. So this is the, 2011 look. Last time you've seen it really looking that bright. I love Maverick. And I think in one of the pictures here, oh, nope, I didn't actually look over. In one of the pictures, you can see how the ride used to run. It goes down the drop and it used to hit that little stangle dive thing at the same time, which was really cool. The park over here was just covered in trees. Now, one thing that I do not like that Cedar Point did. I love the farmhouse. I love this whole area. I'm not talking about the area, but you'll see as you walk past Maverick that they created a place where you used to be able to cut through and now you can't because they put a stage there. It used to be so much easier to just get around over here instead of having to walk all the way around down by the Maverick entrance and stuff. Oh yeah, if you look over, you won't see any fast lane entrance and stuff over here too. It's pretty interesting. But continuing on, as you see, this is now where a stage is. You used to be able to just eat over here. Pretty easy cut through, right? Nope, can't do that anymore. You gotta walk all the way down by the Maverick entrance and around, which isn't too big of a deal. It just kind of creates a flow issue in my opinion. But we do see some small changes on the Maverick line area, like the ice cream stand out there and whatnot, but pretty much everything over in this plaza looks pretty similar. The paint job looks a little more fresh, obviously, because it was 14 years ago now at this point, but we see something looming over there in the distance, don't we, everybody? Oh, hold on. Let's readjust here. I'm sorry. I'm just teasing you with the food shops. Look at that mean streak. And yes, today it looks a lot different with the towering structure of Steel Vengeance over there. The Wild Wild West welcome. But let's go take a stroll over to what it used to look like in this area. Because Mean Streak used to be the towering, dominant Woody over there in the Frontier area, and it was really awesome. So, as you can see, the train station's still there. We always go take a train ride. If you guys are in the park, I suggest taking the train ride from back here up towards the Millennium Force area. It's a beautiful ride the whole way, so just good times. But yeah, we have the old Mean Streak area over here, just pretty much trees and stuff over there, not too much. I always wondered why they didn't do like a haunted house thing over there back in the day, like back in that corner. Kind of make a maze and whatnot back there, but I kind of understand too it being in the back. Let's go look at the old Mean Streak entrance though, because this is where stuff gets interesting. The park has changed over the years. Some things look the same, some walkways are the same with different things that they lead up to, and this is one of them. The towering dominance of just this big wooden structure, and the old Emporium over there, the Frontier Emporium, which was pretty cool. You can still go in that shop over there, still get your Steel Vengeance merch over there. Pretty cool, but it just looks a little different nowadays. And now we're gonna stroll over here where things have definitely changed. I mean, look how tiny the Mean Streak entrance was, just a little walkway to get through. Nowadays there's numerous queues. There's an exit queue over there and an exit path, so it's definitely changed over the years. Take a look over here to the right where all the lockers are. It was just basically like cement block. There was nothing really over there, and look how beautiful that Mean Streak drop looks. I mean, it's wonderful. But yeah, you got some patio chairs to wait if you're not riding. For all you non-riders, that was what you could do over there. And that was really it. It was just a bunch of cement over there. The area looks way better nowadays. It has the Steel Vengeance sign out front over there and everything. So definitely taking the time to improve this area. Steel Vengeance is the better ride, though I do miss Mean Streak. Let me know if there's any Mean Streak fans out there. The ride was incredible, to some. Not everybody. Some people thought it was rough. I think it looks beautiful though. It's kind of hard to beat this. It's, been a long time since Cedar Point had a Woody like this, and personally I want a Woody at the park. So yeah, I love Steel Vengeance, but I would also like to have another wooden coaster. So Cedar Point, you guys should definitely build a Woody there. Anyways, let me know if you guys miss Mean Streak. I know it wasn't the favorite ride of everybody out there. I loved it. Some people did, some people didn't. I understand why you didn't. Trust me, I was young when I rode it, so I could, handle the roughness a little more and probably didn't notice it as much as I would today. I'd probably dislike the ride a lot today, but that's pretty much where we're at, with Mean Streak in circa 2011 before they did anything back there. It was kind of just a quiet spot in the area. And now we're going to kind of meet back off where, you know, the stage is over there by the Maverick Plaza and whatnot. Plaza looks good, but they've definitely changed some things over here. You'll see that there's a food thing right here, a food stand. Nowadays, there's where the shading is and the little tables over to the left there. There's a stage there now, so that's why that cut through by where the old antique cars and the Maverick walk through. That's not really there anymore, but things have changed at the park. The park does look wonderful. You can still see the nods to history throughout. So let's continue on throughout the park, everybody, and let me know what you're thinking about seeing Mean Streak. I mean, it's pretty awesome that we have Steel Vengeance back there now. Just amazing, and hey, more Halloween nods that you still see around the park today. It's pretty awesome. I can't wait to do a side-by-side of this. Probably sometime in September or October, so be on the lookout for that, everybody. Let's get back to it. Still a pretty beautiful area of the park. This area has generally looked the same my whole life as far as I can remember. Certain things have changed. The little lounge area over here to the left looks a little different. That used to, it was just trees and stuff. Now you got lights over there. It was pretty cool. Now the Gemini Midway is quite different too. You see there's no fast lane entrance for Gemini and the old exit over there. The Coke drink station isn't a drink station to your right. The Happy Fryer stand that is no longer there featured prominently on the Midway. It is pretty awesome. The shop looks way better nowadays, I think. This Midway looks better nowadays, I think. There was a lot of things that were left to be desired over here. But Junior Gemini was facing the actual Midway. And check that out. Do you guys remember the Snoopy bounce house? I do. But Junior Gemini was facing this Midway rather than being in Camp Snoopy. And I kind of like that a little more. There was also 2 little flat rides over there that they've moved to Kiddy Kingdom, I believe. And this area felt a little more nice. There was, look at all these trees and stuff. It was just kind of a shaded area where you could kind of take your kids and go hang out and play. 3-point shooting contest over here. They used to have a lot more of these guys, trust me. You don't like basketballs in parks, there used to be more of them. They were everywhere out there. But anyways, oh wait, that wasn't 3-point shooting. That was just a basketball challenge. Still, it's moved along down the Midway, and you guys, you know, as you can see, these shops definitely look a lot better now as they've put time and TLC into it. Let's move on to the Magnum entrance, because this one looks a lot different today. It's boxier, there's no tunnel, and there's not as many trees over there. So let's go see what we're talking about here. As you look off to the left, shrubs everywhere, just everywhere over there. And it is kind of weird to think about now because I'm pretty sure there's a restaurant there, right? That's where like Back BQ area is. Yeah, wow, okay, now I'm putting that together. That is pretty crazy. The entrance area itself, though, featured that tunnel that everyone remembers always flooding. And, you know, it's kind of a nostalgic nod to history here because a lot of people do remember it. I went through it a few times. The Magnum photo op place was really cool, though, because you kind of cut through on both sides. It was a little easier and a little just direct cut through. I like the area nowadays. I think this looks just a little more natural, and I go for more of a natural looking parks versus building up so many things that it kind of looks like a cement jungle. Just my opinions. Let me know what you guys think down below about that. This walkthrough is awesome. Just a nod to history and going back in time. It's super hard to beat that. But moving on now, we're going to go over by Magnum. Check out the Magnum area a little bit. Look how much different it looked. They got an electronic sign over here now. You can see some buildings in the background. And in the distance, there was some Pepsi stands over there. Or Pepsi vending machines, I should say, in line. Which they did have a lot of back in the day. There was vending machines in almost every line. I remember Gemini had them. Everywhere had them. We used to always get a drink in line as soon as we got up to the vending machine. That was kind of like the halfway point. But look at this. This is my biggest gripe with the 2011 to now changes. 14 years ago, there was shade everywhere, guys. This Midway was filled with trees, and I loved it. It was awesome. Nowadays, it's just like grass and everything, and they do the pumpkin display over there during Halloween weekends. 10 out of 10 would take the trees back. Like, it is not even remotely close. That area just sunshine beating on you most of the time. Look at the Top Thrill drink station over there. It's pretty interesting. But now we're going to get to some other interesting stuff because Power Tower used to have a different entrance, everybody. So if you started going to the park, you know, in the mid 2010s, you remember, you know, where the entrance is now, where it is, right next to the Super Himalaya ride. But I remember entering down by Corkscrew and walking forever in what seemed like a never-ending line. Because you would walk all the way from Corkscrew, all the way down to the Super Himalaya, and then you would enter the switchback queues for the ride and decide which side you wanted to get on. And it's pretty interesting because this queue was massive. I don't know why. Like, if Power Tower ever got that busy, I don't know. Let me know if you've ever seen it that busy where it was actually filling out that queue. I don't remember personally seeing it ever. I remember waiting pretty far into the queue, like towards the top by Super Himalaya there. But I don't know if the ride ever warranted a queue quite that big. But it was interesting where you would go under the little corkscrew area there, and I missed that entrance. I know it's a weird entrance, but I think it was really cool and unique how you got to interact with the coaster there and just kind of enter the ride. I didn't ride Power Tower that much over the past few years. I know it's one of my least favorite drop towers at the park, especially like Cedar Point. Kings Island has one that's way better. Like, I would love to see that at Cedar Point, but Power Tower still is nostalgic, freshly repainted recently, and matches Top Thrill 2, so it looks like it's here to stay. Another interesting thing that was over here though was Blood on the Bayou. So you know how you enter over there by, Adventure on Forbidden Frontier Island? No, you used to enter right there by Top Thrill 2, where pretty much the spike is nowadays. If you think about it, like, that whole area was where you would cut through and go do your Blood on the Bayou experience. That was the first place I ever experienced Blood on the Bayou. It was a pretty awesome thing back then. Nowadays it just feels like a lot of walking, so hopefully they figure that out one of these days. Guys, the drink stand area over here was just so cool. Let's check out this nostalgic view of the Millennium Force Midway and Dodgems over there. You can see the Good Times Theater in the distance. Just people all around. It was an awesome time at the park. If you remember going to the park in the mid-2000s to 2011 area, like, let me know. Do you remember seeing the park like this? I personally remember most of this stuff, a good portion of it, like Calypso by Blue Streak, the dead end over there, being able to go behind by Ocean Motion to the ice cream shop, like Dodgems on the Midway, Good Time Theater, Wildcat. I probably rode Wildcat at least 50 times in my life. Some Schwarzkopf engineering and ingenuity, like, it's an awesome time at this park over the decades. The park continues to grow, the park continues to expand, and the park continues to get better while still holding its place in history and remaining true to its historic nods. It's hard to do that. I mean, look at the corral here. The corral is still here. It just looks a little different nowadays. Before, it used to be, little single serve windows, and you kind of boom, 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 boom. There'd be a line on the Midway, all that. Nowadays, it's, you walk in and you get served, and things change but stay the same. Look at Attitudes. This is a Coke stand. This was the shop I was talking about early on. Does this fit in the landscape of the theme park today or the amusement park today? I don't know. I don't think so. It's probably why it got phased out and we see Coke stands there now instead. But it was interesting going to the park back then because you never really knew what you were going to see and expect inside some of these shops. Things changed. The food quality's gone up over the years for sure. The merchandise quality's gone up over the years for sure. But there is a sense of me that does miss the cheap little shops that they used to have too, because they weren't crazy priced and all that other stuff back in the day. It was kind of reasonable. And yeah, the quality showed for it, but there's just something about that old nostalgic fair feel at Cedar Point because it was still bigger than everything, but not. Hurricane Hannah's even, I remember eating here all the time. Like, you just walk in the park, get yourself a snack before you start hitting the rides. Simple. Boom, boom, boom. You were in and ready to go. I miss the park when it looked like this. I love the park how it looks today. Let me know what you guys think down below. This walkthrough has been really fun. I loved going through the history of Cedar Point, kind of seeing where things were different back then. The old midways, the old throwbacks. So let me know what you guys think down below. And be sure to smash that subscribe button if you love the walkthrough of Cedar Point in 2011. Be sure to leave your comments down below. What was your favorite part? What do you wish they still had the same? What are you happy they upgraded? What are you happy they've moved, since plenty of things have been moved within the park too? Let me know your feelings on Cedar Point circa 2011. And a huge shout out again goes out to all of our subscribers and of course our wonderful channel members for making all of this content possible. Without you guys, we wouldn't be able to do this. We are so excited for opening day, and we're definitely going to do a side-by-side shot comparison versus today. And of course, everybody, as always, thank you for being a part of our spooky community and for coaster ghosting with Ghoster Coasters. Can't wait to see everybody this year.